Hello, my name is Melissa Bradley, and I'm the Communications Manager at Fountaindale Public Library. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Dr. Judith Davis and Chinyere Amafule from the Third Institute. The Third Institute is one of our very generous Summer Adventure Gold sponsors. So I wanted to get a chance to speak to you today about your guys' unique story and why you chose to sponsor Fountaindale Library's Summer Adventure. So to start off, how are you ladies doing today?
Good, great.
Yeah, same. Doing good. Just staying safe and really glad to be able to help the community in new and creative ways.
Awesome. So if we can start off, if you ladies could tell me a little bit about yourself and the Third Institute, your organization, and then your monthly Roots programs that you hold here at Fountaindale Public Library.
Absolutely. I'll jump in and definitely generate, add in where I miss. But
Okay.
So, the Third Institute really started from me and my son going into the library, and we noticed that there was programming for um, various members of the community and cultures. And so they had Dos Deals, a program for Spanish children, and in-language program for Polish children. They have cooking classes for Filipino children, like so many really rich, fun classes that my son and I participated in and had fun. And we're like, wow, this is cool. We love the library. And I asked librarians, I said, hey, do you have anything around Black history or African American children? And now there's so much, in the last couple of years, it's really evolved. But back then, actually 3 years ago, there really wasn't much. And they said, it's not for lack of not wanting to, just more so, just we don't have the expertise or the interest or people to put it together. It's like, okay, that's cool. Let's talk about it. And then the director of the Children's Services, Miss Joyce and Aurello, and I met and we talked about and brainstormed what could be out there. And we talked about, being able to show positive history and content for kids. And that's how Roots was born. And, we came up with the concept and I was like, this is really great. I can't wait to see you guys do it. And then she called me like a week later and was like, well, we think you should do it. I was like, okay. After that, I, of course, got my son involved and my husband. And then, 6-8 months into it, started sharing it with my friend Chinyere, and because I know, how important Black history is to her. And so she became one of our board members for the Third Institute. And, most recently, we became incorporated by the state of Illinois and federally, and just really excited to take, what was such a small concept now into much more broader and affecting so many more kids.
That's awesome. It truly is a wonderful program. We love it. We host it here every month. And I think during each program, you focus on two African American heroes or sheroes, as you call them. And I love that. So just tell me a little bit more about like the Roots program and what it consists of.
Absolutely. So we, every month, we offer about an hour of content. When we were in person, we would give the kids goodies and snacks, and we would lead a craft that was in alignment with the hero or shero that we worked with. And we tell the story. We try to use, we pull from the books that the library has about the heroes and sheroes, and then we try to pull in a video or some kind of content that kind of grabs the kids to learn more. And we just tell the very authentic story, right? Like, we know, unfortunately, in schools, only the same old heroes get talked about, right? Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. But African American history is so much richer than that. There are so many stories to tell. I joke with the board and with Miss Joyce, like, we'll never run out of people to talk about every month. It just will never happen. As long as we have kids show up, we will never run out, because there's so many stories, and there's stories that are modern. There are stories that are historical. And like this month, we're going to be talking about James Baldwin, who, of course, was an incredible thinker and author from the 1960s, but then also talking about Ava DuVernay, who is, modern shero today, creating amazing African American content. And so there's so many stories to tell, so much history. And I did not come from extraordinary background. I came from humble beginnings, and so I was fortunate to learn about some of these folks when I was young. And if I can see them in me and be represented, and aspire to be like those folks, knowing that they're out there, wow, what these kids being able to see positive heroes and sheroes too that are real like them and represent just like them, that they can try to do the same. January, what would you add in?
I just would like to definitely add that it's also an opportunity for both like adults and youth, or all ages, to learn. Some of the topics and asking from months past are people that I have never heard of or didn't know much about their background and their contributions to society. And so for children to see, especially African American children and people of color, to see the extraordinary contributions that we have done is so critical. It provides a source of empowerment that may not otherwise be given regularly, whether in educational settings or outside of educational settings. And I like that bridge that from hearing about the Roots program, and families do come and engage with their children at the Fountaindale Public Library. So I just really see this as a dual experience, not just for our youth, but for our adults, as in teenagers and staff as well.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a really good point that you made about, when children of color see themselves in these stories, then, it is inspiring and empowering, and such a great message. But why do you think that children of all backgrounds should be hearing these stories too?
Absolutely. I think, all backgrounds should really engage and learn, because there's not always the opportunity to learn from individuals that look different from you, but then also to hear positive stories. Unfortunately, we don't always, get fed in the media or TV or whatever it is, positive stories about people that look different. And if you come from a family that didn't have a lot of great interactions with people of other cultures, or maybe as one writer that I love talks about, Ta-Nehisi Coates, maybe you come from a family where talking about race is taboo, and it's just not something you're comfortable with. Well, you can come to the program and come listen and learn in a very positive, encouraging environment that's not taboo. And so, let us take that burden off of you, and come and listen in a way that can not only be educational and meaningful, but really could, foster that love of all cultures, for all children.
That's so wonderful. Great message.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys chose to fulfill your sponsorship in a really unique way, something different than we ever had. Can you explain your donation and why you chose to do things that way?
Absolutely. Jen, you want to take that?
Sure. Well, the timing was such that the organization was formed, and we really wanted to do something that would be impactful, especially during this time where many of the students are not, I would carefully say, disconnected from the school system. You know, the learning is limited in a remote setting for many of the students, and the accessibility for education around other topics such as Black historical and current um, inventors, contributors, is not readily at their tips. So we thought, well, wow, this is a time that that these books need to be in the hands of youth and others to really want, like Candy said, have that exposure to positive information and images, because we are currently saturated with uh, the, let me just for call it the trials, and the trials that often we have been affected by as Black people in the United States. So we just thought it was a pivotal moment where we could make a contribution to the Fountaindale Public Library.
Absolutely. And
So,
I would just add that, there is first of all, the library can be such a magical place for kids. I'm a bookworm. I love books. So having the feel of a book when I was a kid was huge. It was something that's really exciting. And unfortunately, not all kids have access to books. It's such a basic thing that you should be able to get a book in your hand that you can keep and cherish and be in your home. And so exactly what January said, kids right now are more disconnected from their school libraries. They can't check out books. They couldn't check out books from their school, and the library was closed. And we learned more than ever, wow, these kids they don't have access to have one of those books. So we were really cognizant of the books we chose. And so it wasn't even that we just said, yeah, let's give out some free books, but many of the books that we chose have multiple heroes and sheroes inside of the book. So you can have one book and learn and hear about so many different people. And that was very specific. We probably, I think Miss Joy said, was of all the sponsors for the Fountaindale Children's Summer Program this year, our donation was so specific and targeted. Like, it was books, and then it was books by these authors, and then it was these books, so that we could get like the right books in the hands of the kids, and they could have something that starts their own little libraries.
that's awesome. We love it. We are so appreciative of the donation. And the kids have been receiving their books. We started giving out prizes on July 1st. So we get to see the little ones come in every day now, and collect their books. So it's really been a great addition to the program. We're really thankful for it. So what impact do you think that these stories will have on the children and in our community?
So much, so much. You know, I um, I think as parents, as adults, there's this whole concept called decolonize your library, right? So it's all about how do you make sure that your personal library, or what you're reading, or what you check out at the library, is varied and diverse, and not just confirms your beliefs. And so it could be that some of the kids that get these books is the first time that they have a diverse book in their home or in their library, or even seeing it, because it's really easy, considering that 73% of all published authors are white. And so it's really easy for kids to just, whatever the color they are, just check out books and buy books and purchase books that only look like a certain person. And so we hope that this donation is some firsts for some kids, and creates a curiosity for diversity that may not have been created before.
That's excellent. We hope so too. It's a great donation, and like I said, the kids have already been coming in, and I think it has added a little something extra and special to our program this year that wasn't there before. So now that, kids can potentially be exposed to new cultures and new information and new people and history that they've never known about, what do you think that families can do to continue to learn about Black history, Black stories, and Black culture and diversity in general?
Jen, you want to go?
Well, one,
You're
I'll
so
start.
good at
I'll
that.
definitely make a plug here. Is be engaged with the Roots program. It's at the library, at the Fountaindale Public Library. And although we are not there in person right now, the virtual option does exist. So first, look for activities that are available through your library system. Also, within the city of Bolingbrook and beyond, look for activities that may be offered that present on youth-related information on whether it's African American culture and history and literature or other cultures. Get engaged that way. Also, if a family or a child does see a book that they're really engaged with, call the library and ask, like, well, what are some other authors and other people that I should be considering? What do you recommend?
Yes.
What do you recommend? I really enjoyed, this particular book. And so that is an initial start, an initial beginning.
Yes. Yes, definitely. I love Chinyere's last point about when you read one that you're interested in, go get more. Like I said, we know libraries, publishers, if there's no interest, it just doesn't get to the top. It doesn't get published. It doesn't get sold. The library doesn't buy a ton of copies of it. And so open your and open and diverse your selection that you're checking out at the libraries. And I love the point about adults. Sometimes being the demonstration for the kid can go further. So yes, get the books that we donated, but check out books for yourself and let your kids see you, getting more into diversity and having those dinner conversations. Because it no longer behooves us as a country to be silent about it. We have to be active. We have to speak out. We have to be demonstrations for the next generation, which I'm seeing more and more and getting so much more hopeful by everything that's going on in the country right now.
That's wonderful. That's great. So that about wraps things up. Is there anything you ladies want to add? Let our participants, our patrons, our community know about you or the Third Institute or anything.
Stay tuned. We have more to do. We're just getting started. So check out our website, www.thethirdinstitute.com. We have information out there, the class dates. We've got book recommendations if you want to buy more, read more. We've got information out there. We've got a blog where we talk about why it's important to keep this up and our board members. And so stay up to date with us. We're so excited about how much more impact this organization can make.
Excellent. Well, I believe our next Roots program is on Saturday, July 25th. So if you're watching, make sure you attend. It is virtual. You do not have to be a Fountaindale Public Library card holder to attend. So mark your calendars, check our events calendar, which is fountaindale.org/events for more information. And thank you, ladies, both so much for speaking with me today. Like I said, your donation was tremendous. We can appreciate your generosity so much, and we can't thank you enough for being part of our program.
Thank you. And thank you for Fountaindale for all that you're doing for the community. We really appreciate it.